I had a dude come in here the other day and ask me for a Corona. And then somebody told him, no, that lady right there made this beer, and how dare you come in here and say Corona. The events that craft breweries have are, it's bluegrass music, it's trivia nights. I'm trying to create a space where people can come in and say, oh, I can relate to this music, or I can relate to the art on the wall, or the vibe.
When you walk into Spaceway here, it's like the walls kind of come down, and everybody that appreciates good beer, the openness, the conversation, I think it's good for the community.
Spaceway is from the poet, musician, composer, Sun Ra. He had a song called We Travel the Spaceways, and he's kind of credited with being the patron saint or like godfather of Afrofuturism, which is art kind of focused on images of the future that don't just include but depict Black people, brown people as leaders in their own spaces and not just as background workers or helpers. The mill was built in 1818. Slaves built it, slaves worked it. I feel it when I come out here, talk about ghosts and all that kind of stuff. I've made it a point to just take a breath every time I step out here, a moment to honor, reflect. In North Carolina, I am the only Black woman owned and operated brewery. I'm kind of I guess, unicorn right now, but the ancestors are probably looking at me like, girl, you ain't doing nothing.
Black women in North Carolina have actually been a part of beer history for a really long time. We have stories like Patsy Young, who was formerly enslaved, basically took her freedom and ran away, and we know because of runaway slave ads that among her talents was that she was a master brewer. There are people like Patricia Henry, who was not only the first African-American woman, but the first woman to be a brewmaster for a major brewery, which was a Miller's, and she ran the Miller plant in Eden, North Carolina for several years. Seeing Bree in this space feels like a continuation of this legacy. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with reclaiming this narrative of who gets to brew and who gets to kind of embody the identity of a brewer.
The more people come from different backgrounds, they're gonna have different influences on the way they prepare it, the ingredients. Like, my stout, Don Dada cardamom stout. It's not a lot of people putting cardamom in a beer. And that's all reflective of the stuff that I eat, which comes from the African diasporic culture. I describe Don Dada as like an old-fashioned cocktail in a beer. It's not as heavy as most stouts, but it's heavy enough so that you know it's a stout and you get all the flavors in there. So you're gonna get notes of chocolate, coffee, and then of course the cardamom and sweet orange peel, and also a little caramel in there. Sometimes it's music that I'm listening to. Somebody might I'll hear one line and it triggers something, and I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. The rap group, Diggable Planets, they have a song called Agent 7 Creamy Spies, and I was like, yep, that's it.
This is the perfect place to stop for the night. They have the tiny houses here, and you've got a choice between 7 to 8 restaurants, 10 different breweries. There's a river walk down the Tar River, there's a waterfall, there's a park. There's a lot of things you can do without ever leaving the campus.
You will experience what breweries have always been about, and what beer has always been about, which is bringing people together. You will feel that when you also experience Spaceway and Breeze Beers.
Spaceway Brewing Tap Room is at 1151 Falls Road, Suite 2003 in Rocky Mount. That's in the Rocky Mount Mill, and it's open Wednesday through Sunday. For more information, give them a call at 919-667-8141 or check them out online at spacewaybrewing.com.